All right, so we're back. So let's look at a couple examples of policies that, showcasing exactly how does the IUL work. So for example, this client is a female, she's 33 years old, right? The benefit is 406,000. She's going to be paying $400 a month. As you can see right now that it's tied to the S&P 500 and the participation rate is 100%, okay? And we actually have some riders. Remember, we spoke about those and what those are. So that's chronic, terminal, and any paid up life insurance in case, like sometimes you have times in life where you can't pay your insurance. Certain policies allow you to have a rider where it'll protect your policy in case, you're unable to pay. Right. So there's a couple pages here, but I'm going to go ahead and show you. There's also different crediting strategies, right? So it depends on what the index is that it's tied to. So this is a really interesting product because it's not just life insurance. Like this is literally tied to the index. And this is not only how the insurance makes money, but also how you can actually grow your money as well, too. Okay. Let me show you. Oh yeah, here you'll see a little bit about the loan. So you could do a standard loan, you could do an index loan, right? And you can take money from yourself. 1 second, let me show you this. I'm gonna go skip to, all right, here is what we call the 20-year look period, right? So in the 20 years, how has it been performing? What has the returns been? So as you can see here, right here in the S&P 500, right, in 2003 did about 26% return, but then we had a down year in 2008 and 38% negative, right? As it's been growing last year, the year before that it was about a negative 19, but the year before that was like 26. So it kind of like averages out. So on average over time, because these policies are normally something you keep for like 20, 30, 40 years. This is a lifetime policy, right? So you want to be able to understand, okay, some years might be good, some years may not be good. And again, it's all about where the index is tied to, right? But as an agent, I always usually choose the most high performing index because I want you to be able to grow your money when it comes to your cash value, right? So let me show you what that looks like. I'm going to explain that to you here. I'm going to go to page 30. It's a lot of pages. This thing is about 30 something pages long, 40 pages. It is not a joke. Okay, so I'm going to explain how this works. So again, the benefit for the family is 406,000, right? And the client is paying $400, age 33, this sample. So I'm going to show you how to read these tables here, right? So basically we're saving $4,800 per year. So on this guaranteed side, right, that's here on the guaranteed side, this is like if the market did absolutely like the worst, right? This is like, okay, the markets didn't do good. There's nothing happening. Legally, we got to show you what we call, you see this? 0%. It did poorly. This column here is the second, which is like, okay, the market sort of did, pretty much a kind of mid-tier. So that's like a 3.25%. Here you'll be able to see a little bit of that, right? And then lastly, what we call is really the reality, right? We know like the market's not really doing 3% and 0% on an average of 20 years. It's anywhere from like, 6 to 7 to 8%, and the lowest is like 5%, right? So legally, your policy can actually do better, but we only can show you example for this company only up to 5.51% because we can't really show like what it is, right? So up to 5.51%, this person, she's paying $400. And basically, as you can see, over 10 years, it's 48,000. So she put in 48,000 of her own cash. And then basically the surrender value is like if I turned in my policy and I didn't want it anymore. The accumulation value, right, means what you've accumulated. And then the death benefit, I have this at growing. So every year that you're growing, your policy amount is going up and up. So what does that mean? Like your benefit for your family or whoever you want, every year that you're living, it's increasing. So guess what? They better keep you alive, right? because at the end of the day, it's gonna be worth a lot of money. I'm just saying. I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. But uh, basically, when it comes to the 20 years, over 20 years, you put in 96,000 of your money, right? And you can see right here, that's 126,000, right? So that's 126 cash that's been accumulated there. And then this is the benefit amount, right? So I just want to show you what this looks like over time. And again, I tell people like, look, if you're only putting $100, $200, if you didn't start when you were like a child, or you're not putting it in for your children, it's going to take a little bit. You got to catch up those years. So it's always better if you can put a little bit more and save more. I mean, you just got to cut out, a couple drinks, a couple, shopping or going out, right? So that long term, you could really be able to build for yourself. Here, over 30 years, you see like she put about 181, right? And then subtotal here is about 144 in cash that you put in, but you only have about 249, right? You see it's way surpassed that, right? And now this is $400 a month, and this is at age 63. So she started at 33, she's at 63, and now she almost has 250, 300K tax free. Keyword, tax free. Right? So this is super amazing. All right. Then from here, let's say 40 years later, you put in, again, 192,000 of your money, just like you pay a premium. We pay premiums for cars. What do we get? Nothing, zero. We pay for our phone insurance. What else do we get? Nothing, zero. You pay for your home insurance stuff, and what else do you get? Zero. Okay. So this type of insurance is the one that pays to play. Okay. So basically 431,000. So that means you put in 192,000 over time. This is growing. You have 431,000 to tap in as an emergency, right? So that's $100 a week you're putting away for yourself. You can't get that in the bank. You can't get that nowhere. But look how amazing this goes. Let's go a little bit more, go a little further. And then I'm gonna show you a male example and a child example, and then we'll take questions. So here, right, 240,000 over 50 years, right? Basically, you're already at 600,777. So when do you hit the 1 million mark? Everyone loves to know that answer. So in this particular example, I love to, be able to push at least people to get to that 1 million. So by the time you retire, you have that in cash, right? So this right here, you're looking at about age 95 for this particular person because she started late in life. Again, the earlier you start, the better. Trust me on this. And that's basically, again, at a 5.51%. Okay. We're going to look at client two. Client two is basically going to be a male, age 35, right? And for those individuals like, you know what, I have a little bit more money to spend. You guys are realtors, homeowners. You can be able to put a little bit more. Business owners, you don't have any retirement set up, right? You got to put something aside for yourself. Like, this is the only way to do it, where you could basically diversify. You may have other things, but it's also good to diversify, right? We're just going to skip on down to that page so you can see what it looks like and the difference of when you put in less and when you put in more. 1 second. All right. So here, basically, we're putting in 1,000 a month, right? You could already see that the cash starts growing a lot faster, right? So over 10 years, you put in 120,000, you got about 130,000, you put in about 199,000, you have about 312,000, right? Here, 25 over the next 30 years, 226,000. That's when you start seeing it double. So basically, again, the more like you double up your premiums, is the faster it's going to grow and you have more access to this capital. So quick questions were like, okay, well, when can I take those loans? You could definitely take those loans anytime, literally after like the 10-year mark. It's a good time. You don't want to pull out too much cash too soon or too much, because then it doesn't have time to really compound itself. Okay. And 1 second. Here it is. And then lastly, we've got when the $1 million mark hits. So here you could see by age 85, they only put 435,000 over their lifetime. And you have about 1.6. Yeah, right? And then if you want, you could literally start taking distributions every year. You're like, hey, you know what? I want to have $75,000 every year just coming out of this. And you can do that for the next 10 years. That'll get minus out of the death benefit, of course, but it's your money, right? So you can spend it, and then whatever is left, you can leave that to your family. Last client that I'm going to show you is basically a child. You know, you got nieces, nephews, right? Children. This is a female, age 3, 100,000. That's at $75 a month. Okay. So we're going to show you what that looks like. You're putting away $75 for your child. Right. Hold on. 15. Where is it? To that page here. Right here. Okay. So we're putting $75, and this is a difference, right? So we started a smaller benefit, but again, it's growing over time. The child's only 3, right? So in 10 years, they'd have about 9K. In 20 years, they'd have about 30K, right? In 30 years, they'll have about 63K. And by the time they're in their 40s, they'll have about 125. So what people do is like, okay, when they're 18 or 20, maybe you want to buy a car. Okay, you want to buy a car? Great. I'll go ahead and take it from the policy, from your own policy. I won't actually use my money because I've already been saving my money in a way that I'll just borrow from your own bank. So that's how you set up your child, literally to have their own bank building tax-free that's not in the actual bank, right? Then we have what we call from, let's say, 50 years, they're about to retire. Maybe they're 53. They're like, hey, they got 238. They want to buy a house. They ask you for the money. You don't have to give them the money. You say, hey, you know what? Again, I'm gonna go back into your little bank and I'm gonna borrow it. You can control the policy until whenever you choose to turn it over. And normally, if parents want to do it in their 20s and their 30s, when they feel they're kind of responsible to take over the policy. And then let's say they're 63, you're long gone, right? But guess what? You've been paying this all they're paying is $75 for their life. So you see the difference from starting younger and then when you start higher, they literally reached $1 million by just putting away $75 for their whole lifetime, right? By age 77. That's $900 a year. That is crazy, right? So they put away $63,000. This is what the rich folks do. Okay, I'm giving you guys the secret sauce here. Okay, so $63,000 that you put in over your lifetime for the child, right? And they have $816,000. Where are you getting that kind of return? Just where? It's possible, right? And then of course they have the benefit for their family. So literally for 72,000, as you can see over time, right? 1.4, just $75 a month. So that's why I always encourage parents, if you have children, nieces, nephews you love, this is how we promote generational wealth and literally helping individuals when it comes to, making things happen, right? Okay. So those are some of our samples. Let me see here. Share my screen again. I know I've packed in a lot tonight, guys, but I just wanted to make sure that you guys have it. Stop my share screen, and I'm gonna share this other screen here. And just a second. All right. So to wrap it up, some of the key takeaways, right? Index Universal Life, again, has its upside potential, its flexibility, tax-free gains. This type of insurance also offers permanent coverage as long as premiums are paid. Some of the drawbacks, again, are the returns and maybe the premium amounts or future market returns. The IUL policy also can be canceled. Of course, it will be canceled if you stop paying the premiums. It'll pretty much be a surrender charge. And these policies are also good for also if you wanted to do, tax-free retirement and savings and investments that way, right? So Q&A. All right. Q&A. So who in the audience has any questions, feel free to unmute yourself or raise your hand or put it in the chat if you're shy. Let's get a chart here. Okay, chat. Any questions? Okay, I guess it's self-explanatory. Awesome. Going once, going twice. Let me know. None from me. Okay, perfect. Ia, Abigail, do you have any questions?
Hi, can you hear me?
Okay, now I can hear you.
So I guess it's just to reiterate or maybe just to confirm. So you're basically saying that we can add the child on as a beneficiary? Is that what you're saying? And then they will be able to, I guess our money they'll be able to we'll be saving for them practically and they'll be able to touch it at a certain
So
age.
yeah, so not entirely. I mean, yes, if you have your own policy, then of course you could put your child for like the beneficiary, but for the children, right, they will have their own policy. So
Okay.
yeah, so that's pretty much you want to be able to set that up for the child. So if you have 3 children, each child has their own policy and they're paying, let's say, $75 a month, right? And that's pretty much how that works.
Okay, I
Okay,
understand now.
you
Thank you.
understand now? Mm-hmm. All right. So I'm so excited again for you guys for showing and, if you guys showing up and participating in this webinar and really understanding a little bit about, how all this works, right? We also have the 100 Club, right? So it's the Family Trust 2024 campaign. So my goal is to help all the families within, especially the 100 Club, getting their trust done, right? So that's where we have our group chats. I know some of you guys already started. Jasmine already started. A couple of you are going to be started, right? There's an option if you're already a member that you can get access to getting your trust done, right? And we have a special member price. And if you're a client, you can also get that special member price, right? And basically, you can get your family trust, all the documents you need to get done, and including getting your financial organizer bag, which we designed, and it's definitely fire. There's limited stock. So those first 100 are going to be part of those like signature 100 families that are going to jumpstart the next wave of legacy and really like how you're going to empower yourself when it comes to your wealth and your family. So I'm super excited for that. So the enrollment is open for the financial club, right? You can visit the financial club when it comes to www.americandreamers.club, right? Or you could text me for the link if you have questions. And everything ranges from different price ranges. So it just depends what your needs are. If you want to get your trust done, you just want to be a member. We also have 25 events slated this year. So you do not want to miss any of the American Dreamers members. We are doing a lot of great, big, and amazing things. In March, we are going to be doing renting out a theater. We're going to be doing a movie showing with collaboration, a nice financial event, and also learning about venture capital. We're going to be also doing a conference, the women. We're going to be doing some brunches, right? So there's a lot of events slated this year. I'm also going to do another webinar next week about the family bank. And the week after that is going to be wills and trust. So each week, the goal is, especially for us to not only learn about a little bit about our finances, what this stuff means, because the more that you guys learn and understand, the better that you can really, feel confident when it comes to this stuff, right? You don't have to be an agent to really understand it, but you want to know what it means for you and how that's going to impact your finances and what's the best decisions and best ways that you could benefit yourself, your family, and also setting up your legacy, right? So I'm so excited for all of you. And again, don't forget, be a part of the WhatsApp group. Don't forget to be part of the WhatsApp group. Sign up, create your free account on AmericanDreamers.club. But we want you guys to be a paid member. We also welcome and thank you for all our paid members and lifetime members for participating in the American Dreamers Club and learning more about their finances. And my goal, again, for the new year is to empower all of you guys. Every one of you guys should have a trust. Every one of you guys should have some type of IUL savings, right? If you already have one, we'll make sure that it's performing good. We'll exchange it, whatever we need to do, set the appointment with me. I'll make sure to have you prepared. 2024 is your year. This is your year. We're all going to do such amazing things. So I'm super excited. And if you guys have any questions, feel free to reach out to me via text message or phone call.